Hello, hello. Good evening, friends. How's everybody doing tonight? Sorry about that. That took just a minute to get started. I hope you're having a great evening. I hope you're having a great evening. Let me delete this other one. Hold on. Sorry about that. Anyway, glad to be here. If you're watching this on replay, which you probably are, um, then you can skip ahead to just a little bit. But anyway, I'm glad you're here. Tonight, we're going to be making Santa and reindeer ornaments for our first live. Then, after we finish that, we'll do our snowman ornaments. But for right now, we're doing Santa and reindeer because people are going to do one or the other or do them, together, but one right after the other. They won't be doing them at the same time. So, that's the best way for me to do this. Okay, let me make sure I can see your comments because if there are any questions, I want to be able to answer them as you ask them. There we go. Okay, now I can see comments. Hello. Okay, so you can watch this on replay either on my Facebook page here or on YouTube, which is also here because I'm streaming this to both places. So let's see. Let me make sure I've got this right. Hello, Tracy. How are you? You're from Kingston, Ontario, Canada. You're in Texas. What are you doing in Kingston? Glad you're here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Your ornament kit will come in a bag, unless you did porch pickup, and then it probably didn't. I just thought of that, but it should come in a bag. We're going to use that to cover our surface whenever we. Let me make that the big picture. Oh my goodness, the lighting is terrible. Guess I should have figured that out first, huh? Um, there we go. That's better. So it should come in a bag if you shipped it. You can cut this bag open so you have a little more space if you want to. I'll show you. So easy to do. It might be easier to see on the black surface too. But I'm going to build it on my table here, build my ornaments. Let's see. Hello, Catherine. How are you this evening? Okay, so then you'll have a little more space to work with, or you can use like a trash bag or something like that. Oh, thank you, Sandy. That's so sweet. Okay, so I'm going to open these up. And if you ordered a kit, tell me which one you ordered because I'll be doing the other ones next. I hate that you see the surprise, but anyway, I loved this tissue paper. That would be so fun to decoupage on something with Mrs. Claus with her little glasses. Isn't that funny that I found that after I decided to do Mrs. Claus with glasses? Sometimes people put Santa with glasses, but I decided it would be better for Mrs. Claus. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way until we get ready to resin. Okay, so we've got our gloves. Once you receive your kit, you might want to make sure that everything is in there. I mean, these are hand packed at my kitchen table and in my dining room by me and my mom and Sean this year. And so every year I have different helpers, but my mom and Sean are the constants. And this year they were our helpers. So, okay, we've got our template here, a little piece of transfer paper, our 4 rounds, paint. We should have all those colors. We've got a baggie with all of these goodies in it, some crystally glass and some beard glass, beard glass, resin, peppermints, cups, brushes, glue, and the hangers, the leather for hangers. So the gloves and the resin, I'm going to move those aside. I'm going to use these cups though, because we're going to have to mix some paint. So I'm going to start out with transferring my image onto these little ornaments. You want to make sure that your ornament hole is at the top. Oh, good. You got yours today. How exciting. So you want to make sure that your tracing paper, the shiny, darker side is down. And I have one of these little styluses. You could use the back of your paintbrush or you could use a pen to transfer your image. I'm going to start with the little reindeer here. And these reindeer are basically the same. One has freckles and one doesn't, but I don't know why I did that. I just thought it'd be cute for the little girl to have freckles. Okay, so you can just transfer. Really, all you need to transfer are these major lines here. Where your nose goes, you're going to know where that is. Where your eyes go, you're going to know where that is. You can transfer your cheeks if you want to. That'd be fine. And there you have your one reindeer. We'll go to the next reindeer. So again, make sure your hole is at the top and make sure you've got that in the middle where you want it. And then line up your edges. This one's a little bit, but the wood's a little bit different every time, and the the template doesn't always, yeah, it fits, but it's just, you just got to line it up and kind of figure that out. So there's two of them. Okay. And see, when we put our nose down on there, it's not going to be painted nose color underneath there. So you may not want to paint that to, because then you can't move it around if you want to kind of do something a little different once you put it on there. Same with your eyes. If you mark where the eyes are going to go, and the eyes, it's glass, so they're not always exactly the same size, and you might end up with your eye in a place that you don't want it. So it's better just to kind of trace the major elements, and then place the other pieces kind of where you want them to go. I'm not going to trace that because that's going to be red. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Okay. And same with the mustache here. I'm just going to kind of go across here because that's where that is. The nose is going to be a piece of glass. The cheeks are going to be pink. And then the eyes are going to be placed on there. So there we go. And then we'll do Mrs. Claus. Let me find the hole there. I always think this looks like my mom, especially since she started wearing little readers. And I need to post a picture of her for y'all to see. Last year, she dressed up like Mrs. Claus for my little cousins, and it was the cutest thing. I think she's gonna dress up again this year. She makes a perfect Mrs. Claus. And I'm not going to trace where the glasses go. I'm not going to trace the eyes. I'm not going to trace the nose. Those are there just to kind of, and I'll go over them. Give her a few little eyelashes out here to the side. They're not crow's feet, they're eyelashes. Okay. So you saw what I traced there. Not a lot of tracing, but you can trace more if you want to. I'm going to shake these up. These are really good quality paints, but they're not, they do settle sometimes when they're in the shipping. So you might want to shake them up a little bit. And I feel like this peach color is a good color for skin tone, but it's a little bit too bright for me. So I'm going to add some white to it. First thing I'm going to do though is paint the white areas. So I know Santa has white, just because I know when I put my brush in there, I'm going to get my white a little bit dirty. So I'm going to paint my white areas first, which are going to be, I'll set them out here so you can see them. And pull up a picture, right? If you're looking at them. So for Santa, it's going to be, whoop, that's not Santa. There's Santa. It's going to be the white cuff here of his hat. Like this. And you can go ahead and paint down the side if you want to. The white cuff area here. And then it's going to be his beard down here. I'm going to paint down here on the beard. Is this close enough? Do I need to zoom in closer? Because I can do that. Let me see. That might be better. Is that better? Sometimes when I look up, I see. Otherwise, I don't see what you all are looking at really. Paint his beard. I'm going to go ahead and paint down here. What I imagine is you all on a snowy night sitting down to make ornaments, but chances are it won't be a snowy night when you're making ornaments, but I'm going to pretend it is. And you're watching this video. Okay, there we have our Santa hat. We'll do Mrs. Claus next. She's got white all along here. And you heard me say the reason why I do the white first is because after this, I'm going to be dipping my brush in other colors and it'll get that white kind of dirty, murky, because that's the kind of artist I am. Not the cleanest artist in the world. People that know me know that. I'm a messy artist. So, in order to keep my white clean, paint my white areas first. And this is all going to have glass on it too. So, it really doesn't need two coats. If it was going to be, just that, I'd probably put a second coat on it, which I'm going to do on these because these will be just plain. They won't have glass on top of this. It'll be this part right here of the reindeer, this part. So it'll just have resin on it. So we'll do a couple of good coats. Make sure and get the sides. Make sure it's all pretty. So I wonder how many of you all make these for yourself when you make them, and how many of you make them to give as gifts. I've always wondered that. I'm gonna go ahead and go down there. Whoops. See, I told you I'm messy. I don't mind being a messy artist. Some people around me mind it. Sean Rhodes, my husband. Both. You're going to make them for a gift and for yourself. I love that. I love that. I have some people that have friends over, ladies that have friends over and make them together. Work events, Thanksgiving cousin night. I did. Um, I've done a couple of events with ornaments. People make two or three to take home. I love to give them, but I love to keep them too. I'm with you. You make them for yourself. I love that. Both, both, both. A lot of people do both. Sometimes I feel like I give so many handmade gifts away. People are like, oh my gosh, she's so cheap. But in the same breath, I think a handmade gift is better than anything that you can buy. So it's kind of a catch 22, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to do another quick coat on this right here. I love receiving handmade gifts and I don't get them very often. I think people, you know, don't make them for me because they think, I don't know. But I love, love, love receiving handmade gifts. They're my absolute favorite. So I love to give them too. Okay, so I got a second coat on that one. And it's okay if it's a messy coat, that doesn't hurt anything. All right, now I'm going to mix this flesh color that I want to do for Santa and Mrs. Claus. So I'm going to get some white paint and I'm just going to use these cups that we're going to use for resin later because when we use them for resin, we'll flip them over like that and it won't matter if it's got paint inside. That's not going to hurt anything. Okay, I'm mixing some white with this very obnoxious peach color. I mean, it's really bright. It's kind of an orangey peach, which is fine, but I like to tone it down a little bit because it just seems so bold. But if you want to use it straight from the bottle, more power to you. Let me add a little more white. Got to save some white for my cheeks. There we go. I just like that a little bit better than that color. So I'm going to go right over those cheeks right there. We're just going to paint like a long stripe across here. And that's it for Santa, for his face. I'll do the side down here. You can take as much time as you want with this. You don't have to rush through it like I'm doing. I'm not really rushing, but you know what I mean. There we go. All right, let's do Mrs. Claus. I love handmade gifts too, Paula. They're my absolute favorite. And I'm just painting right over that. You'll be able to see through a little bit to see where to put your cheeks if you don't feel confident in making a little circle there. Um, but I have always given handmade gifts my whole life. Even when I was little, I used to make stuff. Especially when I was in college, though, because I was a studio art major. And so I did ceramics and weaving and painting and all kinds of stuff. So I would make things for my classes a lot of times with my family in mind. So all of my aunts got little weavings one year, and people, my aunts got pottery one year. We'd always came up with something fun for them. Okay, so we've got our faces. Oh, I'm really crooked here. I'm sorry. Let's straighten that up a little bit. We got our faces. Look, I can go this way too. I feel like that's a little tilted. Sorry, maybe that didn't help. Okay, now we're gonna do we can do our cheeks while we've got this white on our brush. I'm just gonna wipe my brush off onto a paper towel. And I'm gonna mix in this one some pink for my cheeks. I got all these cheeks to do. All of them have cheeks. If you don't want to do cheeks, you don't have to. So I think it's kind of cute to have a little bit of blush. Mix in that pink with my white. That is a very bright pink too. I'm just mixing it with that white a little bit there. And I'm just going to use this. You can practice if you want to. You can practice making a cheek, making a little blush circle. But I just kind of put my brush down and turn it like that. And that gives you a little circle. These brushes are really pretty good for that kind of stuff. So we'll go right here. I can still see where my markings were from underneath there. Just kind of fun. It gives you the right spot to aim for. Let's see. Santa's are up here by his eyes. Can't have it under the beard for sure. Why change perfection? I just copy you. You're so sweet, Paula. Thank you. Well, these are really great to customize to. If you wanted to do some darker skinned Santa and Mrs. Claus, you could. If you wanted to do um, different colors on whatever, if you wanted to have a pink Santa hat, you absolutely could. Okay, now we're going to do our little reindeer here, and their little cheeks are right here. And you can let that layer underneath dry if you want to. It's kind of blending in a little bit, which I don't mind. Kind of like that. And then we'll do this guy, girl, whichever one this one is. Oh, see, I told y'all. I'm messy and I'm a little bit clumsy too. If you need to loosen up your paint a little, you can always add just a touch of water to it too. I just assume everybody knows that, but this is acrylic paint. So, and it's not washable. It won't wash out of your clothes or anything. So don't get it on your clothes, please. Okay. So we've got that done. I'm not even rinsing my brush. I'm going to mix some browns for our, actually, no, I'm going to go to red. We're going to go to red. Whoop, just got paint on me. So I'm going to wipe off my brush. I'm not rinsing. I just wiped it off on that paper towel. This is the red we want right here. And I keep getting white on my brush. I mean, on my fingers. Okay. So we're going to have red on here. This is where her bun goes. She's got a little tie around her bun. And instead of trying to paint a real skinny line, we're just going to paint it real big because that glass is opaque. So you're not going to see the red underneath it. Okay. And then we're going to paint red on Santa's hat right here. And it does come down a little bit because he's got his little ball. I put a couple of things in there. I put a little white glass marble that's kind of iridescent. And then I'll also put that peppermint. So you could use whichever one you want. Sorry, my hands are shaky. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to rinse. Now I'm going to rinse that out. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is go with make our brown colors. And these are a little bit two different shades of brown, if you can tell. And as you notice, we don't have brown in our mix here, but we're going to make a brown. I'm going to take orange. And I haven't opened this one yet, so let me shake it up a little bit. orange and blue to make a brown. You can make brown lots of different ways. I'm going to just mix it right in this cup that has this flesh color because it really doesn't matter. But we're going to make this brown with orange and blue. So I'm going to take plenty of blue paint and then, so I don't ruin my orange, some orange paint. Oh, I still got blue in it. That's okay. And mix those two together. It's kind of gray. We need more orange. If it's too gray, you need more orange. And you'll get to a brown color. We need more orange. You won't believe it, but it turns brown. There we go. We have a nice warm brown. You see that? It's like magic. I'm going to show you another way you can make brown paint. We're going to do red and green. It's opposite colors on the color wheel that make your brown color. So we're going to use our red and green, and then we'll decide which, we'll do them two different colors, kind of like what I have there. Red, green, duh, and then red. And mix these together. This is fun for younger kids because they really don't realize. Usually they think, oh, it's just going to make black or something, you know. This is going to make a nice darker brown. So we have two shades of brown here. I think I'll do this one for the boy, this darker one. And the boy's going to get the red nose. And then I'll do the lighter brown for the girl that's going to get a pink bow in her hair. Just going to come straight down on there because that nose will be down there at the tip of that. And then be sure and paint your sides. Just like that. We'll let that set for a minute. We might come back and do a second coat on that. Okay, I'm wiping my brush a little bit. We're going to go to this brown. It's a little bit lighter one. You can, if you want to play around with the color, you can always add yellow to them. That'll give you a little bit different brown color. But it's always going to be a shade of brown when you mix two colors that are opposite on the color wheel. Purple and yellow is another good one to try. I think that's what that one was because you can see the yellow in it. Purple and yellow, red and green, blue and orange. If you want to get real fancy, you could get into aqua. Use aqua for your blue and red, like a different shade of orange. Anyway, there we go. Okay, now we're going to paint our eyes and do our eyeballs. In your bag here, let me set these aside. I'm going to use this for my stuff here. You've got 2 reindeer ears and a bag full of goodies. Lots of little goodies. So we're going to get out our eyeballs first. And if you don't have a kit, I do not, if you didn't get one ordered, I do not have any more of this style available, but I do have more of the snowmen that we're going to be doing in the next video. So if you want to order those, they are available in the next video. Whoops, almost lost that one. All right, eyeballs, eyeballs, eyeballs. Okay, got all our little eyes here. And I'm going to kind of match them up to size because they are all a little bit different. I think I'll do these two and these two, maybe those two and these two. So kind of match them up because, they're hand cut glass. They're all a little bit different. I'm going to be painting. You might have to, these brushes have a little bit of glue on them from when they were um, packaged. So you might want to get it a little bit wet to soften that into that right there. So I'm going to use, I think I'm going to do this green tone on one of these deer. Do the deer have to have brown eyeballs? I don't think they do. I'm going to do green. I mean, they're magical reindeer. They can have any color eyes, right? And what I'm doing is just painting a half circle on that eye there. You can see that? And then maybe I'll do blue for Santa. Just a little half circle. Maybe I want to do a light blue, I think, for Mrs. Claus. I'm just going to mix it in the top there. Oh, I like that. Mrs. Claus has icy blue eyes. Little half circle there. Yes, they all got mailed out last week. All the kits were mailed out last week. Is that what you're asking? Yep. And then what other color do I want to do? I think I'll do brown for the other reindeer. I'll just use this color. My mom and my sister have brown eyes, and my dad and I had blue eyes, and then my little sister came along and she has green eyes. I always think that's so fascinating. Okay, we're gonna let those dry for just a second. Um, I have a glue pen. And if you use a glue pen, then you want to make sure that you use very, very little and you wait until the glue is completely dry before you put resin on your ornament. Okay. That is always a rule. Everything has to be completely dry. So if you're going to use glue, just use a tiny, tiny bit and make sure it's completely dry. You don't have to use glue for anything, just sometimes helps keep things where you want them to be. I'm going to use it to hold these little antlers in place. Now, I did not paint the antlers on these. These are the raw wood antlers, and I think they look really cool like that. They have their own little dimension, and they've got the dark edges where they've been cut and all of that. So I got ordered these from a lady in Minnesota. So yeah, a small business up there. So I love the color on those. So I did not paint them, but if you wanted to paint them, you absolutely could. You can paint them like a light brown or a white or whatever. Okay, so the eyes are going to go on here. Then we've got our nose, our Rudolph nose right here, right there, and our other nose for our sweet little girl right here. Oh, I forgot her freckles. I'm going to put her freckles on. I'll use the back of my paintbrush and paint some freckles on here. And just one of these brown colors. Whoop. They can go down onto those blushing cheeks a little bit. Whoop. How cute is that? I love freckles. Okay. And then she's going to get a pink bow in her hair. So I'm going to use a teensy tiny bit of glue to hold that on as well. When I made my samples, I didn't use any glue and it was just fine. You could put your bow wherever you want it to. I'm going to set it right there. As soon as these eyes get a little bit drier, we'll place those on there. All right, let's look at our Santa and Mrs. Claus. We have her bun, which is like this oval iridescent piece. I'm going to set it right there on the edge. And then her little bow, we'll just set that right there. You could glue all this down if you wanted to. She's going to have eyes. We're going to have a little nose for her right here. Then we can decide which we want for Santa's hat, if we want to do the peppermint or if we want to do this pretty little pom pom ball. I'll use the pom pom ball because I used the peppermint on the other sample that I did. That way you can see one of each. Again, very little glue, okay? Not much at all. And then for Santa's hat, we're going to use these sprinkles, these crushed glass sparkly sprinkles, these right here. So I'm going to kind of make myself a little dam or a fence with my glue. Again, a very small amount around the edge there. And these super, oops, I just got my eyeball wet. These super sparkly glass here is what we're going to use. I'm going to dump it into my hand and then sprinkle it on here. And that little line of glue is going to help us kind of keep it in place. It doesn't seem like it would, but it does more than you'd ever realize. Does more than you know. You don't have to use all of this because I put quite a bit in there for this little bitty spot. If you're in my glass group, you know what we do with this. We throw it in our confetti bin, and we have a bin of glass just with little pieces like this that we call confetti, and we use that for all kinds of stuff. I'm going to put this back in here, and I'll throw it in my confetti bin in a little bit. Okay, then we've got, oh, wait, we have our mustache. I'm going to place our mustache down. Again, you can glue it or not, whatever you want to do. Mustache. I'm going to put that all the way out to the edge and then drop his nose here. I think in my sample one, I pushed it a little bit closer together and put the nose on top. So maybe that's what I'll do. All right. So now on this one, I'm going to put another little dam for my glass right here. Make a little dam or a fence. Got one on that side because of the mustache. This will just keep these crazy little balls from going everywhere. And again, you have a ton of this too. The little balls might go everywhere anyway, because sometimes that's how it works, right? Yeah. This is the part that you'll feel like you're playing that don't break the ice game. Do y'all remember that game? I talk about that game sometimes in my group. You don't know, I have a glass and resin group where we make projects every single week. Projects that will absolutely blow your mind. No, I'm just kidding. They are so much fun, though. We have the best time in there. And it's open if you want to join. Okay. So there we've got Santa's beard, and now we need to do Mrs. Claus. So I'm going to do the same thing. Actually, I shouldn't have put her bow down yet. Let's put her bow up here. You want to be cognizant of this hole right here. See how it's open in these other places? Right there for Mrs. Claus. We just have to make sure we leave room for it. And you can go ahead and place everything down and then scoot stuff out of the way if you want to. But oh, oh. Probably should have put some glue around the edge of her hat band there. Her bun band, whatever that is. There we go. I've still got plenty of glass. I'm telling you, you're going to have tons of glass. Is she out of the frame there? I think she might be. We'll scoot everybody over a little bit. So fill up her head with glass. Oh, you might want to let it dry a little bit between these steps, especially if you're working with kids and people that are clumsy like me or a little bit crazy or messy. Just because if you do it in stages and let it dry between steps, then you have less chance of like knocking stuff over. Okay, so there we have her bun, her hair, and we've left that open for her little thing there. Okay, let's do our eyes. Boop. Let me get black. Oh, I still need white too. Forgot. Forgot about that part. Black, we need the tiny brush, and you because you've got two brushes in there. We're just gonna make a little pupil. Try to make a match between the eyes, but if you can't, that's okay. They still look magical and cute. Do all of our little pupils. Another just little half circle, kind of close to the bottom. And after we do this, put a little dab of light in their eyes. And I do that with the back of my paintbrush. Come in here and make a little dot with the white off to the side. I like to do it on the same side for both eyes. So for me, I just kind of pick a side and do that for everything. Pretend that's where my light source is coming from and it's on everybody's eyes in the same spot. Okay. So I'm going to oh, I forgot about my jingle bells on my Rudolph here. Those aren't quite in the center, are they? There we go. I am going to glue these in place. Teeny tiny bit of glue. Whoop, there we go. Oh, I got some white on there. The best way to get paint off, if you got paint somewhere you don't want it, is to use water. This is water and a clean Q-tip. And I'm just kind of lifting that off. Paint back over it. Or I even took off the brown paint. There we go. Okay. Now let's see. We got to get our eyes on there. And oh, yep, we'll put our Mrs. Claus eyes down. Her little nose. I like her nose all the way at the bottom because I just think it's cute that way. Like this. And then her glasses, let me move her eyes up a little bit. Her glasses, I just kind of tilt them in there like that. Like that. Okay. Then our reindeer here. Our boy reindeer is going to have brown eyes. And our girl reindeer's got green eyes. Because why not? Because these are our reindeer and they're magical and we can do what we want. So, of course, we're giving her green eyes. And then Santa is going to have blue eyes. And we'll get his eyes situated here. Kind of like them down close to his nose, like that. I was going to paint some little eyelashes on Mrs. Claus because I think that looks cute. So you're just going to take your brush and dip the very, very tip in your black paint. Like that. And like that. Okay. And these are ready for resin. Now, are they dry? No, they're not dry. I would wait about an hour, maybe longer. You want them to be completely dry before you do this next step. And I'm going to move everything out of the way because I've got to put down my plastic. You might also want to start with plastic. So here we go. Going to put down a cup and an ornament. And it's okay that there's paint in those because here we go, a cup and an ornament. Make sure everything's right where you want it. It's okay that there's paint in there because this is going to get thrown away when we're finished. All right. Sure everything is where I want it. Check and double check. Pretend these are dry. We're going to pretend these are dry, okay? Move them into the frame of the camera. All right. What are we doing? We're pretending these are dry, right? Don't do this if they're wet. I'm going to put on my gloves and we're going to set a timer. Well, not yet. Hold on. I'm going to put on my gloves and we're going to cut our resin packet open. You're going to cut this big bag, this big outer bag, and leave the inner bag. So make sure you don't cut this one. Okay. Take it out of the package and we're going to slide this clip off. This is all the safety information, by the way. If you want it, it's in there. You want to make sure when you do this that you're doing it in a space that is not going to be, these won't be disturbed for about 8 to 12 hours. So they'll be dry in about 8 to 12 hours. But until then, you want to make sure nobody touches it. There's no cats or dogs, cats or dogs or pets or kids or anything like that or husbands that are going to go, what is that? And touch it because it's going to be wet for 8 to 12 hours. So you slide out the pink clip, take this part out and take out this little rod. And then you're going to mix these two packets together like this. And you're going to do it really vigorously for 3 minutes. Alexa, set a timer for 3 minutes. Probably just turned on all of your robots. Sorry about that. So you're going to do this for 3 minutes, vigorously mix, get in the corners, move it back and forth. This is a good job for kids, but you want to make sure that you go back and redo it too, because you want to make sure you get it all. You don't have to redo it for 3 minutes. You just have to make sure it's all fully mixed, or keep an eye on it. Make sure it's fully mixed. So this is like just a little chemical reaction. You're mixing two parts together. So art resin is a great product. It has no VOCs. It's very low odor. Sometimes I can't even smell it. It just kind of depends. I have asthma and this resin does not bother me. So you can do it indoors. You want to make sure that it's room temperature, the room you're working in, or at least the resin is room temperature. For it to cure, it has to be above 68 degrees, I think. So you want to make sure it's, at least decently warm while it's drying. So you could always put like a big tote upside down over the top of this or something if you don't have a space where you can leave it. But once it's cured, it's food safe. Not that you're going to be eating off of these, but just so you know, it is food safe once it's all set up. So mix, 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 mix. Get this all mixed together and it's getting warmer. It's got little bubbles right now, but art resin is really good about the bubbles popping and coming to the top of the surface. So you don't have to worry too much about bubbles in your piece as long as you mix it like this. Does anybody have any questions? Probably should have put a link in here. I don't have any more of these available, but I have more of the snowmen, and that's the one we're going to do next. Is our snowman set. Okay, we're almost time. And it's getting warm up here. Is it warm where you are? It's still cold here in Kentucky. We had really cold weather this past week. It even snowed here. Whoops. Look at that. Look what I did. Okay, I'm going to keep mixing this, then I'm going to fix that. where I bumped it with my finger. See, I told you I'm clumsy. If I can do this, you can. I know you can. Most of y'all have done them before. I wanted to run a report to see how many people were repeat customers. I think almost, I don't know. I think every year everybody is, but maybe not. So yeah, all of these kits have already been shipped and a lot of people have received them. Hopefully, most people have received them by now. There were a few. One went to Japan. Actually, I had two that went to Japan. Alexa, stop. So they're probably not there yet, but okay. We mixed and mixed and mixed. I'm going to fix my sweet little Mrs. Claus here before I open that because, got to make sure she's looking her best. There we go. Okay, you could always glue that in place, but if you do that, what do you have to do? Make sure it's dry before you do this step. Okay, one more good squish, 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 squish. And I'm going to trim the corner off of here really small because you want to drizzle your resin on. You don't want it to pour out because you're going to have enough resin, but you're going to have just enough resin. You're not going to have any left over. So we're going to drizzle on the top parts first. So go to the mountains first and it'll drain down into the valleys and get all that area covered. So put it all on your glass and the stuff that's sticking up high, do that area first. Same with this. Do the area that sticks up the highest first. Now we'll do our antlers. I'm just going to go up like that, go down each one of those. And then I'm moving to the next one because I'm doing the high areas first, okay? And it's going to drain down and cover the smooth areas. I love the color that the wood gets once this antler wood gets when the resin goes on it. I love that color. Okay, same with Mrs. Claus. Let me get her done first. And here we go. And around her eyes and those glasses. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. They look just like my mom's. Okay. I'll have to post that picture of her dressed as Mrs. Claus. She really did a great job. All right, I'm gonna go back up here to still got quite a bit of resin in here. So this is the first one I did. I'm gonna go and make sure that all of the flat areas are covered and just double check my glass and make sure it's all covered. Same over here. We're gonna do the same thing. Make sure that the flat areas are covered. I love these resin packets. They're so convenient. I wish they were, I wish it was always like this. I don't mind mixing resin, in a cup or whatever, but it's so convenient to have it in these little pouches. Okay. I'm going to just push that using the end of this, push that resin off the end of those antlers there. Still got a little bit of resin left. So I'm going to use every bit of it. You got yours ordered, then two more. Awesome. Awesome. All right, make sure these flat areas, since I've got plenty of resin left, I'm gonna just kind of drizzle over the face here. Just make sure everything is covered. I don't know how many times I can say that, sorry. Said it too many times already. So, let's see. We have, go back over some of this. I know I got it all, but you know how you've got a little left. You might as well just give it a second coat across that. Okay, now at this point, if you were not as frugal with your resin as I was, meaning cut a tiny thing, whatever. You can always go through, and there's some drips on on the table already or on the plastic already. You can always go through and use your gloved finger. Don't use your skin, and kind of touch any areas that you think need an extra little. Right there's a little place that didn't get resin. Kind of babysit it. Figure out where the resin's pooling to, and um, just make sure everything's covered. If you want to run your finger along the side to make sure the sides of the wood are covered, you can. I don't always do that. Sometimes I just leave it because that's the side, that's not the front. But that's up to you if you want to do that. And then you are all set. They look so good. So then you're going to leave them here for 8 to 12 hours to dry. You can take a paintbrush and kind of go down in that little hole and just make sure that the hole is open right there, right here. Make sure that the hole stays open if you want to. Otherwise, you can re-drill it when you're done. There are lots of ways you can open that hole back up. Um, but if it's not fully cured, you can use a heat tool and kind of loosen up that resin. But that should be good. Don't forget to sign and date the back of your ornaments. You can do that before or after. I always forget before, so I always do it after. And then I'm going to take these gloves off. You also want to be sure and use your hangers. Don't lose your little hangers. These are leather. Go right through there and tie it on the top. And your ornaments are all done. I love this design. This is probably my favorite. It's between this and the Nutcrackers. I don't know. But I love Santa and Mrs. Claus, and I love the magic makers. The reindeer are magic makers, in my opinion. The presents wouldn't get to you without the reindeer. So, anyway, thank you so much for joining me. We're going to be making snowmen next. And so, stick around. If you have time, stick around. And if not, watch that other video. It'll be on YouTube, it'll be on Facebook. You can watch it there. All right. Thanks so much. See you soon.